Yo, what's up YouTube? If you're new here, my name is Danny James, and in today's tutorial I'm gonna be showing you how to create these retro Kodak photo frames for your music videos. As always, like the video if you genuinely enjoy it, and subscribe if you're looking for more content like this. Now let's jump into Premiere. I have this clip right here. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to identify like a point where you want to get these photos. Let's say it's somewhere like here. I'll hit M. Make sure not to be clicking on a clip, but just on the timeline. Hit M to set a marker right there, and then you can go a few frames to the right. We don't have to be strict with this, just make sure to restrict it within 10 frames. And then right about here I'll hit another M, and then right here, that's also good. Okay, so at all these points I'm going to take a screenshot and export that frame, and if you can see this button, make sure to toggle the button editor and you should see it here. So I'll export that frame and the others. I'll mark it at 001 and then the other one as 002 and so on. Make sure it's a JPEG, should work. And then the third one 003. Now I'll go to Photoshop and manipulate these pictures, but before that let's go to our browser, go to Pinterest, and then you can search Kodak portrait, just something like this, and then immediately you should be able to see some other variations of the same. Just click on one and it should lead you to the others like these ones. So there's a bunch of retro Kodak frames that you can choose from. The only caveat is that you have to manually mask out the white, which is, especially for frames like this, you have to go to these edges. You have to be really careful with it. It's an additional time, but if you're an editor you can really do this. The second option is to visit my shop at dannyjames.co. I have these vintage frames already. They're going for about $14. I have about 13 of them already, but I'll be adding more into the set. So they've been pre-made. All you have to do is to right click and open with Photoshop. So open it with Photoshop so that it opens the file itself. It opens into something which looks like this. All I have to do is to drag my photos right beneath this layer. So I'll open two more. I'll try this one, and then let's open one more. We have our three layers open. So we have this one, and this one. So we are just dragging our photos. All you need is some basic Photoshop skills. Okay, I'll put the first photo right here. I'll make it larger, and then I'll push it such that it's on the left side mostly, and then I'll put it beneath this layer. I'll duplicate, hit Ctrl J, move the other copy right here, hit Ctrl T to enlarge it. Now you can even squeeze the other side here so that it's not like immediately redundant. Okay, that's good. Now one more thing that you can use to add an element of aesthetics to the photos is by adding some VHS overlays. Those can be gradients, those can be photos that you've downloaded. So I went for these VHSs that I found on YouTube. I'll also link them down below. So something like this, at different points, let's say like this, I would take a snapshot with it. That's exactly what I did with the others, and then I was able to get like these ones here. So I'll drag one of them and put it on this photo. I'll enlarge it. Okay, accept those changes. As you can see, it's beneath this layer, so I'll just change the blending mode to a screen. Now you can see it really changes the element of it. I'll drag a different one that I took. Okay, so you can even rotate it, enlarge it how you want it, and then change the blending mode and the photo that it affects. Okay, I need to realign it well. Okay, I'll change the blending mode. You can even try other blending modes like this hard light. I'll just reduce the fill and the opacity, and then I'll increase the fill just a bit. Okay, just something like that. And then one more thing that you can add to your photos, you can add some noise into them. So these two photos right here, I'll go to filter, add noise, put at around 15, and then I'll do the same for the other photo. That looks really good, so I'll do the same with these other photos. this looks good already, so we can export these ones and go with them to Premiere. Now I'll pick my exported files and bring them into Premiere, and then arrange them just as we set them on the markers, like that, and then we can trim whatever we don't need. Okay, so it should appear right here, and then another one. Make sure they do not overlap, so cut whatever stays beneath the other. You want to ensure that your photos are about 6 frames long, not any longer than that. From here you can go to your effects and look for a transform and send it on that clip, and you can also add the crop effect like that. And then I'll go to these 2 effects and rearrange them, make sure the crop stays above, and then I'll copy these 2 effects, copy them to and paste them onto these others. Now let's add keyframes for them. For the crop, you want to first scale this down so that you can remove any extra blacks that you don't like from your photo. I'll crop from the top. You can also add some small feathering as you're cropping. Okay, that looks good. Now we can go to the transform, enable the scale. You can start it from whatever point that you want. You can also position it where you like, not necessarily in the middle. I actually like this part of the photo. Then I'll go to the end and scale this up, and then squeeze that keyframe to the right. Disable using the composition shutter angle, put your own 180 degrees, will give you a good blurring effect to it. If it's too high, you can go down to 90. Yeah, it was a bit too high. And then I'll replicate the same thing over these 2 other photos. Remove any extra layers of black that you don't like. And then I will actually rotate this one. And then I'll also position it to the... Now the second one, let's not rotate it at all. Let's just place it right there. And then back to our transform, add keyframes for scaling. And then at the end of it, scale it up. And then push that keyframe to the end. Put your own shutter angle, 90 degrees. And then just do the same on this other one. I won't actually remove the blacks from these ones. I feel like I like how they appear. Now we just add keyframes for scaling. Then I don't know about the positioning. We can go somewhere right here. We can also rotate it just a bit like that. And then you can add keyframes for scaling. I would also add a keyframe for rotation if I want to play with it, since it's at -12 degrees. At the end of it, it can become straight. It can also scale up. And then we drag those to the end. Now let's preview that shortly. Okay, that is really wavy. I'll just go to my project bin and add a new adjustment layer. Drag that adjustment layer here and then cut it out. With the adjustment layer, I'll change the label color just to make it clear. And then you can open your Lumetri tab. That's my Lumetri tab. Click on the adjustment layer, and then you can increase the exposure. You can also increase the highlights. And if you want, you can also keyframe your shadows so that they are also brighter at that moment. Now we'll close this tab, go to the effect controls, and then we'll find our basic corrections, and then we'll add keyframes for exposure, contrast, and all these. So go at the beginning, add all those keyframes. I'll go to the middle, I'll drag those keyframes right here, and then initially we'll put this to 0, and then drag those keyframes to the end. At the middle there'll be maximum brightness, and then at the end copy our first keyframes like that, and then copy our middle keyframes, Ctrl+C, paste them at the middle, and then keep on doing this. Then once you have these, let's also go to our project bin and import some camera flash shutter sounds. I've already downloaded them from YouTube. I'll pick this one here. I'll drag it into audio layer 2. I'll expand this and then cut that portion. Okay, it will start there and end there, and then I'll duplicate it twice like that. Now I'll zoom out and then you can play this from the top and see what it looks like. I'll mute the audio for the song. Okay guys, I even went a step further and added a mirror effect to the second image, and I was a bit surprised by this. Changed the reflection center a bit and it actually looked dope. I went ahead and added to the third photo and then it even looked more dope. So what's your thoughts on this? Just preview the end, just preview what it looks like. Yeah, that's it. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, kindly give it a like so that it's recommended to other people with the same interest as you. You can also visit my shop for the vintage film frames in case you're interested, and you can also try the other method with downloading the photos from Pinterest. I'm sure you can also pull it off. My name is Danny James. See you in the next video. Peace.